Hello, I'm Flora McIntosh and I am the Artistic Director of Opera Up Close. I'm also really excited to be directing the new opera, Flotsam. I would summarise the story of Flotsam as a tale of a curious child going to the beach, finding something wonderful that then takes him on a journey that he never imagined, through time, to people, to places, and gives him a new insight into the world. There is an octopus in it, and I'm very keen on the octopus, because an octopus that likes to read in an armchair, which feels like a sensible place for an octopus to be. So that's a really beautiful, magical moment for me. But I love this idea that there are things that we don't know under the water, things that we think we understand, and yet they're slightly different, they're presented in a different way. But in the end, the bit that gets me every time is finding pictures of generations of children all doing the same thing that he's doing, and these children being connected through time and space. And you know what? Kind of makes me cry every time I look at it. Flotsam is a good basis for an opera. Early years because it's a picture book that a lot of very young children might already have explored with their parents, with their teachers. But the thing that's kind of wonderful about Flotsam is that in its original form, in David Wiesner's picture book, it is just pictures, there are no words. And so it's like a perfect creative canvas to find words and sounds and other means of expressing this fantastic story. And opera, of course, is thrilling like that because it asks you to do all of those things. It's singing, it's sound, it's words, it's movement, it's all the colours of the rainbow, and this book gives us just so much fantastic material. Early years settings are the most creative settings you can imagine. Very young children, they communicate in such a kind of diverse number of ways. You'll often be in a classroom with 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, and there's somebody singing, there's someone, they're communicating through how they're drawing, they're communicating through gesture. All of those things are just present in that space. And this production draws on those kind of natural, wonderful gifts that are unrestricted at that age. And it kind of heightens them and brings them to the fore. What we really hope is those young children sort of see themselves reflected in this bit of theatre. And also, you know, it gives children in schools who might find it quite difficult to get to the theatre, they get a really theatrical experience in their school. It comes to them, they get fantastic music, they get fantastic storytelling. They don't have any reason to think that opera's not for them, why would they? They just see it as another wonderful way of hearing a story and feeling a story. So many things excite me about this project. I'm really so excited to find our sound and visual language to bring this story to life on the stage. So I guess what excites me most about this project are the things that are going to feel really truthful to David's aesthetic and to David's images and to his wonderful creative storytelling. But then crucially what excites me is then the things that are going to be different. You know, where we find this sound world, kind of cacophony of fantastic sounds that enhance those images. How we found a design where we might be using puppetry, where we might bring in different bits of percussion almost into the set. I mean, that's just thrilling. As a director, the opportunities are just endless. I have been a singer and a performer for almost all of my career. And so I come at everything absolutely from the place of being a storyteller. I wouldn't say this is unique. I think there are loads of wonderful storytellers out there, and I think many of us are storytellers. But I'm always thinking about how we're communicating with the audience and giving artists the best possible way to connect and speak in the language of their audiences. So I guess that's what I bring to it. I'm also a mum, so I remember what it was like to have small children and the joy of telling them stories. The simplest answer to that is, if you don't tell people something is unusual or difficult, they don't think it is. So for very young children, they say, what's this? Great, we'll take it. we'll have it. It can be ours. That event is going to give us an audience for the future, and with no audience there's no work, there's no art, and with no art there's no creative space for artists to make. So these things are an ecosystem that we've got to be feeding from absolutely the beginning. But also, opera is the most perfect art form for very young children because it encompasses everything and it's very heightened. And young children are quite heightened, and it allows you to feel big feelings. And young children feel really big feelings. They just don't always have the means to express them in the ways as adults that we've learned to do. So there's a lot of, operatic language actually that's sort of inherent. It's like right there in really young children. And I think, oddly enough, opera probably is most obvious to them. Well, there's a really simple answer to that however much we want to create and make and be creative humans, if there isn't money, there isn't space to create. So we need to fund for art to exist. But work like this is about actually demystifying the whole idea of not only watching, not just opera, but any theatre, but watching performing arts, but actually involving in the making of the performing arts, understanding why you as an audience member are so crucial to the experience of being in the theatre. Member of the audience, you're having a collective experience which gives a collective joy, a collective purpose. And that is really, really important for humanity, to be honest. So I think there is a reason for funding it. And fundamentally, for very little people, what this sort of work does is it gives us multiple ways of expressing ourselves and empathising with others. And those are tools for life. Every donation during the Big Give Christmas Challenge will make double the difference.